All right. So I guess we'll get started. We have Laura Waters as our co-host today. Thank you, Laura, for being on here.
Well, you made me, but you're welcome.
Yeah, I tried so long. But she's so good. We're talking about Instagram stories, and she's amazing at this. And so I'm so glad that you're here to talk through it with us. Can you introduce yourself to all the agents on here?
Sure. So yes, I'm Laura here in the Indianapolis office. And yeah, I do a lot of stories on social media. I think that's probably the most Robin's really great about posting. So I'm willing to share what I do. So glad to see you guys all here.
Yay. So a few things, everybody's muted right now, but if you have a question, feel free to unmute yourself and interrupt. And then as we go through, if you will keep yourself muted so we don't have any distractions like dogs barking and stuff like that. And we do have a chat at the bottom of the screen. If you have a question and you don't have the capability of doing anything with audio, you can chat and we'll look at that periodically. Feel free to raise your hand as well. And then up at the top right, there's a few different views. There's a speaker view and a gallery view. So if you want to see all the agents that are on here, you can toggle the views and get the one that you like best. We will start with like a PowerPoint presentation, but I don't want it to be a presentation. I really want it to be more of a conversation. And if you guys have any questions, you know, going wherever the direction you guys want this to go, we're okay with. So, and welcome that for sure. So we'll get started here. Let me share my screen. Can everybody see that okay?
Yes.
Cool. Okay. All right. So we'll start with what is an Instagram story. And if you haven't started your Instagram account, it is an app on your phone. It's not a web-based platform. It's an app that you use on your phone. And your stories are up here at the top, right up here. So you can create your story from there. You can also slide through stories from others up at the top of your screen. So I'll share this. I'm just going to read this directly from Mark Zuckerberg, who Facebook owns Instagram. So they're very similar in their platform. He said stories are on track to overtake posts and feeds as the most common way people share across all apps. And right now, I think the latest stat that I saw, there was 280,000 stories per minute and only 50,000 posts. So more people are going to stories versus posts. Laura, you do quite a few more stories than you do posts. Has that always been the case?
Yes. So I overthink things in general too much. And with stories, the fact that they're only around for 24 hours and then they leave, it kind of takes off a lot of the pressure. I feel like it doesn't have to be as, you know, when I say professional, I don't mean inappropriate, but it's kind of like behind the veil is what I've heard the term used. So it's kind of like you're showing the inner workings. And I know with like Chris here at the office talked a lot about, you know, it's not every post from an agent shouldn't be like open house, sold this, did this. So with the stories, I kind of like to do things where it's like, all right, I'm walking through a renovated house. You know, the things that are on HGTV that people like to see, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. They're more candid.
Yes.
And yeah, like you said, not necessarily unprofessional, but sometimes they're just more, you can be more risky on there. People, when they're in story mode, they're not expecting to see a professional ad. They're expecting to see like what you're doing in the moment.
And it's so quick and easy to upload. Like you don't have to put a lot of thought into it. Whereas when I'm creating a post, I'm like, you know, questioning every word and the grammar and, you know, making sure that it's very thoughtful, where the stories are quick, concise. And I think they can see your personality a lot in those.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing too. You know, you brought up a good point. I actually want you to say this because you said it so well when we were on the phone earlier about like there are different levels, like just getting started with this. And then as you practice more and do more, you can get more elaborate on it. Can you talk about that?
Sure. So, a story literally can be you holding your phone and like going like this in a room, um, and capturing, you walking through somewhere. Very easy to do. And you can simply upload that. Leveling up would be, putting a poll like today, on right before, because I was doing this. I was like, oh gosh, got to practice what you preach, right? Um, right before I got here, I was like, can you guys see this? I took a picture of this house and I was like, okay, I'm loving the exposed brick and the beams in this. And I added a sticker of like, who's with me? I don't know. Can you see that?
Kind of, yeah.
Um, so then adding stickers, and a lot of people are like fearful of putting their face in the video. It took me weeks and weeks before I was comfortable holding the phone at my face, like talking through a home, because it's just sort of awkward. So it's working that comfort level up, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going to get on here. If you guys can see, this is Laura's Instagram page. So we'll go through her stories here. I know you're loving this, Laura.
Yeah, I hate
what
this.
she's talking about.
Here we go.
So this is what she posted earlier. And then this is a sticker that you can add to your story. And when you select whether you love it or don't like it, that goes to Laura as a direct message. So she can have a conversation with you at that point, if she wants to.
100% of people are on board, by the way.
Thanks, Laura. I like that one a lot. And I think that's, yeah, definitely stickers. Even like getting used to showing your face. They talk a lot about like the stats. I say stats show the more you show your face, the more you're gaining brand recognition and trust. So that takes a level of practice too, just like putting yourself out there little by little, and then the behind the scenes stuff. And the more you do, the more you think to yourself like, oh, this would be a good post. And you get in the habit of finding things to post about.
Yes, certainly habit forming, kind of where I was going of like a novice, I just making it a daily habit.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing about, are you seeing the presentation? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's the thing about, stories, is that it should be more than your post. Stories should be a daily thing. They should be more of, sorry, I'm trying to change my view. They should be more of, multiple times per day versus one good post every day. You can put as many or as little stories as you want. And if people get tired of seeing your stories, they just flip through to the next person. So you can, if you really like doing them, do as many as you want. So that's kind of the cool thing about that.
In mixing it in with your professional and your actual, social life on the other end. Oftentimes my husband, like me making fun of my husband, gets more hits. I feel like I love seeing little Mason on Robin's Instagram. It makes people feel like they know you.
Yeah. I had someone yesterday tell me in a comment, it's the nicest thing anybody's ever said, but they said, I feel like I'm a part of your family. Like, I just love seeing your family photos. And I talk to her maybe once or twice a year, but because I mix the business and personal so much, people feel like they're a part of it. Same with you and Lane and your travel trips, and Kelly with Colin and everybody. Like, yeah, the more you share, the more people feel like they're a part of it with you. Okay, so that's what a story is. It's more candid, it expires in 24 hours, and it's a quick 15-second view of each different post. Okay, so here's a few examples. Laura and I had every Wednesday, we have a little meeting to talk about social media. Instagram's typically top of the list there. And so here are a few ideas. One of them with Laura here is a screenshot of our meeting that we did virtually. And then the next example we have here is another like poll that Laura did on her story. So poll is another quote unquote sticker, is what Instagram calls it. Up at the top, when you create an Instagram story, there's like a little post-it note. If you click that, there are stickers. And one of the options is a poll. And so I've found too that doing polls like this, where it's almost like a quiz. In fact, I think this is a quiz instead of a poll, isn't it, Laura?
Yeah, I wasn't going to embarrass you though.
No, it's fine. They look similar. But basically, when someone answers this question, it tells them if they're right or wrong. And these have been pretty funny actually. When you do like a real estate quiz and people get them wrong, the messages that you get back are pretty funny. Like they're like, I can't believe I missed that, or like,
They're embarrassed.
yeah, it's pretty fun. So you can get creative with it. You can do personal quizzes or polls, or you can do business ones. The difference between a quiz and a poll is the quiz has a right answer. A poll is their opinion. And you know, people love to give their opinion. So you typically get a lot of responses off polls. So the good thing about, sorry, my clicker is not working. The good thing about Instagram stories is that you can really gain exposure for free. And the way to do that is through a few different ways. One that Laura does a great job of too is showing you in your face. And we kind of talked about that. And Laura, chime in if you think that there's anything I should add here. But changing it up. People don't like to see the same thing over and over again. And so if they feel like they're going to go to your story and see the same house that you've had listed for a while over and over again, they're going to stop going to your story. So like mixing it up. Laura, you've done a good job of that. Like what triggers you to think, okay, this is what I'm going to do next? Or do you think that through, or is it just like spontaneous?
I would say, like, if you are someone who's just starting off, the best way to go about this is follow real estate agents who are already doing this and literally do what they're doing. Like, you know, you don't have to recreate the wheel. I follow, and Robin, I got a lot of these people from you or just other agents in the business who I've started to follow, and I'm like, that's a great idea. Why am I not doing that? It's, you know, not every idea needs to be your own. So I would say start off by following these people and watching, you know, what they're posting. And now it's become like second nature. And it's also like, it doesn't matter. I don't want to say it doesn't matter what you're posting, because Chris, his deposits and withdrawals that he likes to say, but you know, people are interested in real estate. They want to see behind the scenes. They always have questions about it. So you really can't go wrong if you're doing enough variety. I don't know.
Right.
Does that answer your question? I went on a tangent there.
So it's not like you're not like strategically like saying, okay, today I'm going to do like one poll. I'm going to do a behind the scenes one. You're just like literally going day to day and just taking candid shots of what you're doing and whatever, like what triggers you to do a poll or a quiz.
I guess the two things in the back of my mind are, one, because I have a business account or creator's account on Instagram, it allows you to see the interaction that you're getting, and it's significantly higher with my face in it. And when I have interactive things like polls or quizzes, therefore, I guess that's always in the back of my mind. Like every couple of posts, I want to do one of those two things.
Right. Yeah. And statistics show that if you have a sticker, whether it's a poll or you're tagging location, whatever it is, the more you're putting on your stories, the more exposure Instagram is going to give you, because you're using the tools that they're giving you. So, and then it also encourages people to like click on it, which you get dinged in your message box that someone's interacted with you. So it's a great way to start that conversation with them. So mix it up. It can be pictures, videos, it could be funny memes, it could be whatever you want it to be, but just change it up so it's not the same thing all the time. And the same with a theme. I think we kind of already talked about this, but mixing your personal with business. So it doesn't have to be just your business account and all you talk about is real estate. You can mix in personal with that. And in fact, I would think it's better. And post frequently, because then people trust that if they go to your account, that they're going to see what you're putting out there, that it's not just going to be a blank slate. One thing I will, every single time I go on my Instagram, Laura is the first one at the top of the stories, because she posts so consistently. The more consistent you post, the more you come up as like the first or second story to look at. So it's a very easy and free way to stay top of mind with people who are already following you. Anything to add there, Laura?
Yes, but also I feel like we've done so much talking. If someone had a question, would it pop up on our screen?
Yes. Does anybody have a question? Anything
Yeah,
to
I
add?
feel like we've done a lot of talking. So I just,
No, it's good.
teacher in me wants to check in.
It's Nicole. I don't know if you can hear me or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you, Nicole.
Okay. How do you, I'm listening and I'm taking this all in, but then I'm also looking and going, I pretty much do Facebook and I have an Instagram account. Is there a way to link your Facebook to your Instagram. So everything I post on Facebook gets transferred over to Instagram.
Yes, you can link your business Instagram to your business Facebook page.
What about personal?
No. Actually, yes,
I
you
think
can. I just haven't done that. Yeah, you can. And you can also do that with your stories. So when you go to post a story at the bottom, it'll give you an option to highlight or send to Facebook. And if you send it to Facebook, that goes to your Facebook story.
So I use Facebook. I rarely use Instagram. And at this point, I don't have very many followers because I don't I have like family and like a few friends out there that do Instagram. So Facebook is my primary means of communicating. And I don't want to do both. I don't want to maintain both because it's so much work. It's not even worth it because I might have like 149 followers or something. So it's not really getting out there. And I don't know if other people are having the same situation, but like I'm a believer in making it really easy, or else I won't do it at all. So tell me, what are the steps so that everything I post on Facebook can get transferred over to Instagram without me having to do it?
Laura?
I was just going to say, honestly, I think posting to Instagram is significantly easier than Facebook. So I feel like if you're looking for convenience, and efficiency, because more people are using Instagram and like Robin and I were talking about this. I didn't make social media like a priority for business until like 6 months ago, 7 months ago. But it is Instagram where I feel like majority of people are sitting in line on their phone looking at it. It's becoming so much more popular. That's just my opinion. I don't know, Robin, what's your thought on that?
Yeah, I think I get more interaction on Instagram than I do Facebook. I get more likes on Facebook, I think, but I get more like engagement and conversations, like building relationships on Instagram, just because the platform encourages one-on-one direct messaging instead of commenting. So that's the biggest advantage I see. I will say too, though, even if you link the two, Nicole, you still have to go back into Instagram and check your messages and comments, because if you're not commenting back to them, you might as well not be on there anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So my best plan of attack is basically to stay on Facebook and to disregard Instagram, because I get so many people connected on Facebook that, and personally, and this is a discussion my teenagers and I have, they're all about Instagram and they think I'm an old hag because I use Facebook. And I really do think it's a generational thing, because like my mom would never understand Instagram, and none of her friends would. And my in-laws who are like in their 50s and 60s, they don't understand Instagram either. So I don't know if it's like a certain demographic that I should just stick with Facebook because it's working, or if I should try to like do that changeover to Instagram too. I don't know.
My advice is the sooner you can transition into Instagram, the better. I do think that more people are going to move to Instagram. Like my kids, they're not even on Facebook. Riley laughs when I even ask about it. Like, I don't think Facebook's going to be the go-to platform forever. And depending on how long you plan on being in this, I would start creating your brand on Instagram. Because more and more eyes are going there, and the demographic is changing to where it is more of a well-rounded demographic versus just the millennial base.
Okay. All right.
But to answer your initial question, you would post on Instagram and make that syndicate to Facebook and not the reverse.
Okay. That's the way to do it. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Robin,
we have a few questions.
Somebody has a question.
Robin, I have a question.
Sure.
Tell me how it expires in 24 hours. So how is that working? I mean, obviously, you post a story, it's up for 24 hours, and then it's gone completely?
Yeah, so it's gone completely unless you hit an option to highlight it. So let me see if I have this. I'm going to go back. I don't. There's an option to, what's that?
I thought you had that on a slide.
On one of them I do. I'll show you. here in a little bit, but there's an option like in your profile to highlight your stories. So if you have some that are really good and you want that to be like your highlight reel, you can ask that to go into a highlight album on your Instagram profile so people can flip through those. But it is meant to, on a normal basis, your stories disappear in 24 hours and then they're no longer viewed. They disappear.
Well,
Hey, let me
that
interrupt
raises
real
a,
quick.
okay, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you can also post your permanent post to the stories as well. Just a reminder.
Yes, you can repurpose them. So if you have a really good story that you want to make a post, you can do that. And then that stays on your profile.
Hey, Robin, this is Heather.
Hey, Heather.
Hi, you know what? There's something that I thought about when I think it was Kathy was talking about Facebook versus Instagram. I don't remember who it was, but so the challenge and this is why I'm actually looking to Instagram now, is because on Facebook, since they do filter and decide who you get to interact with and who you get to see, even if I save them as a favorite, as the first see, these are my first see people, I'm like amazed. And this even happened with my son, where I don't see his stuff and there's times where he just won't see mine, but he has me as his first see. So again, I think because Facebook does, might actually limit more interaction than you know. Am I on target with that?
Yeah, they basically show you what they think you want to see. Yeah,
Right.
but in Instagram, similar. I mean, Facebook owns Instagram, so that algorithm is very similar on Instagram too. But you might, based on who you follow, and the difference is that you aren't friends with people. Like it's sometimes not mutual. Like I follow some people that don't follow me back, and vice versa. So that algorithm is a little different in that way.
Right. Well, and also unless you're posting publicly on Facebook, right, no one's going to see it unless they're a friend, where on Instagram, it's out there for all to see, correct?
And the thing is too, and that's kind of what we're talking about here, like with the exposure, and Laura, this is a good time for the story that you were talking about with that guy that closed. There's ways to gain exposure in Instagram that's not a possibility with Facebook. So like tagging the location you're in, or whether in stories or posts, hashtagging people search by hashtags at Instagram. They don't do that on Facebook. So that helps you gain more of an audience on Instagram versus Facebook. So people will hashtag Fishers, Indiana, just to see what's going on in Fishers. And as a realtor, if you're the one posting about community events and the schools and what's going on there, and you're hashtagging that, they're going to see, okay, this girl knows what she's talking about. And they may follow you based on your content or like the hashtags that you're using that's relevant to them. So there is a way to gain more exposure on Instagram and more of a following versus Facebook. Does that make sense, Heather?
Yep, I muted you while you were talking. Well, it did, and you just actually made me think of something else. So to your point, you can kind of like tag where you're at. So if you're going out to dinner, right? You tag where, I hate this great restaurant, just had this, it's delicious, blah, blah, blah. You know, my question is that, and Stacy stumbled upon this, where she found an agent who was basically doing Google reviews on Google Maps for the restaurant, and able to actually put their Highgarden contact information and stuff on that. So when people are like looking for that restaurant on Google Maps, their review plus their contact and who they are, Highgarden Real Estate, is showing up as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that's a big reason on Instagram to mention the locations you're at, or different companies that are represented in that picture, because when you do that, then the brands get message that you mentioned them in your story, and they can share it too. So then they're sharing your information with everybody else
and following you.
What's
Right.
that?
Yeah.
And they're following you. And Robin, we've talked about this, like when you give on social media, you get, so like they appreciate the shout out, so they're willing to do the same for you, and then they interact with you later too.
Laura, you just had a guy message you and closed today, right? That messaged you on social media.
No, he messaged me, actually it was like 4 days ago or something. He messaged me and emailed me from my post, and he said, I want to find a house. I'm ready to go. I'm pre-approved. And I'm like, okay, who's this scam artist? I thought it was like one of those mass emails or something. And so I messaged him back quickly. And then I said, give me a call if you'd like. 2 minutes later, he called me. That was, like I said, 4 days ago. Last night, we are under contract. I asked him, I said, hey, how'd you find me? He said, social media. And I said, good to know that it's working because it does take some time. So that one literally fell in my lap. I have no idea. And I plan to get more information about where he started following me, but 4 days, last night under contract, solid buyer.
Yep. I had, it was 2 years ago now, I had a listing in Avon and I posted that I was in the community and tagged Avon, Indiana in it. And a girl was looking up homes in Avon, clicked on it, messaged me about the house, which was no longer available. But she was like, hey, I've been thinking about selling my house. Can you come and just like help us prep for it or give us any like, advice? And so met with her, ended up selling her house, helped her buy a new house. And then they moved a year later, helped them sell that house. So within a year, sold 3 houses for them off of Instagram. And I asked her, what made you message me? And she said that my posts were authentic and I seemed easy to access. So just being real and putting yourself out there. And if I wouldn't have tagged Avon in that post, none of that would have happened because she wouldn't have found me.
And not only is it that you're trying to get new business, you are constantly reminding your friends and family that you are in real estate and that they should, take you seriously. I've only been in this career. This is my 3rd year. So sometimes I still feel like I'm trying to prove that like, yeah, I'm really doing this thing to people who knew me in my previous life. And so I feel like if I'm showing them, I'm constantly in these homes, I'm educating them with what I'm doing, like a sewer scope or electricity or whatever it is, that'll be top of mind.
Yep. Yeah, you do a lot of educational posts, Laura, and I love it. I need to do more of that where like really behind the scenes stuff, like what it is that you're doing. Because so many people think that we just open a door and collect a big check, and you really go out there and show like your hustle and behind the scenes stuff.
Thanks, Rob.
I see Brandon Jackson's on this call. Brandon, do you have anything to add so far? You do.
Yeah, Brandon, he gets his social media on.
Yes. Here, I'm going to unmute you, Brandon.
Right, went to the bathroom and you called him out.
Wow. Hold on. Let me figure this out.
What's that?
Okay,
Sorry.
there we go. Am I unmuted? Okay.
You're unmuted now.
You guys.
Okay. All right. Well,
Yeah,
Brandon Jackson, if you
I'm
guys don't
novice.
follow him, he does a great job too. So make sure to follow Brandon.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. If you have anything to add, stop us.
No, that's good stuff.
Something for like a farming idea, it used to be that, or I still do this, but like you're sending postcards and mailers out to places. If you're tagging in stories and in posts and people are searching their own areas, like I'm looking at this post of, it's called St. Clair Place. It's on the east side of downtown. And we sell a lot in that area. Well, if I go to like the specific hashtag St. Clair Place, and I'm looking at it here, just at the like 16 thumbnails, about 12 of them are mine or my partner Layton's. So it's a great tool to be like, do I know this area? Yeah, I'm the only realtor on here posting, or like it's clear I'm in the area. So just another idea.
That, and Laura's even integrated her social media marketing with her listing presentation. So she's taken screenshots of what she's done for other listings and put that into her listing presentation. Because I think that's a big question a lot now for sellers, like how are you marketing my home? Social media needs to be a part of that. And the more you do on here, the more you have examples to show them.
That was your idea, so thanks.
What's that?
That was your idea, so thanks. To put it in my listing presentation.
I don't remember that, but it's a good idea. And the other thing too is this was recently brought up in a webinar that I was listening to, and it makes sense. I think A lot of people do it naturally, but just as a reminder, like give context to your story. So if you're posting a story and you have a video or a cool picture of a home, like don't just post the picture, put some words on there so that if people are sliding through, they know what you're talking about or like what you're alluding to. What message are you trying to give them? Especially if it's a video and people aren't listening to the volume, to give them some type of context to what you're talking about. That way, at least they get the message before they go through to the next one. Because not everybody's listening to videos with their audio on. So something to keep in mind.
And as you're doing more social media, once again, post or message on other people's social media. Robin, we talk about this all the time. Like I just was looking at my phone. There are other agents out there that I will comment on their stuff, other businesses, your past clients, family, whatever. The more you give, the more you get. So that's like number one rule to me.
Yes.
Do it.
Yeah. Definitely. Like, and I think you hit it too with like even other agents, like there's still an opportunity for referrals in other markets too. So like, you know, giving other agents love, giving companies love, giving your clients love. It's a great touch point for everybody. And yeah, there's a law of reciprocity there where the more you message, the more you're going to get back. Laura and I actually on our weekly meeting, we take 5-10 minutes at the start of the meeting just to go through and comment on, you know, people's posts that we like. And that's the thing too. Don't just comment on anybody's post, but like genuinely comment on somebody's post that you like what they were talking about or you relate to them in some way and give them a genuine comment, because that's going to go so much further than just an emoji and then moving on. But finding those people to comment on is a big part of this.
Yeah, and developing relationships with these other agents. I mean, last night it was a multiple offer scenario. And honestly, the reason we got it is because we know, work with that agent, have built rapport, you know, so.
Yeah, yep, definitely. Ideas and examples. Laura loves that she's up here.
No, I don't.
Here's an example of a walkthrough. It's a short video, but it'll give you an idea of what the story looks like. But she did a video walkthrough and I thought this one was great.
Hey guys, I am at one of our current projects for Rival. This particular home, it's in St. Clair Place. We were actually building it for one of our investors with plans to list it. But at an open house, we met this couple who we said, hey, we've got this, come check out what Rival's doing. And they said, I want it. Super cute. Giant kitchen, open concept. I think it's going to be one of my favorites so far. So I'm going to show you one.
And then here's another one I did of a new.
Don't show my vacation.
Yeah, it was up there. But here's another one. There was a new community in Cicero, so I did kind of a tour of that, and then showed the lake that it was near. There's the map, and then the lake. It was actually a longer video, but I shortened it so you guys didn't have to watch all of it. But you can get creative with it. You can see at the top here, that's how many like stories I had on there. Laura, if we go back, I think that's where it shows the highlight albums that we were talking about.
Yes.
Right here. So these are your highlight albums. So when you post a story, there's an option to highlight it and add it to an album. And so you can create, she has it here for like different listings that she's had, or you can do different topics, however you want to do that. But essentially those stay on there as long as you want them to.
Robin.
Yeah.
How do you create the categories?
I think you have to just think about like what you post the most about and how to categorize those, or like what people are coming to your profile to see and what they would click on. I have one, like last year I did 365 real estate tips. So I started adding to that and it just said real estate tips. I have one. What's that?
Brandon, do you mean like physically, how do you add it?
Yes.
I thought so. So when you're doing, I don't know, Robin, can you pull this up, or like if a old story of someone's? Oh, if we look at her MI, I'm trying to move these people. Hold on.
Okay, I'm going to try to get your thing back on here.
if next to her MI homes where it says more at the bottom, normally there is a
Yeah.
little button right next to more that says
Okay.
highlight. And if you do that, if you click on that, you can add a new highlight section or add to a previous one. Does that make any
Yeah,
sense?
I'm looking right now. So
Okay.
highlight. Okay, and so you can add it
To a previous one or create a new category.
Okay, and so what I would type in like family or real estate tips or whatever, and then it would then going forward it would let me choose which
Yes.
file
Right.
to put it in. Okay,
Yep.
cool.
Sorry, I'm glad you picked that up, Laura.
No, perfect. Thank you,
I was about
guys.
to go through my whole like how I come up
It
with
was informative. I would have taken the info.
And then you can create album covers if you want to too, but I think the photos work just as well as long as they understand, like from reading the caption underneath, what the album's about. It doesn't matter either way, but a lot of people add covers to them too, like little emojis. Okay, so home and community tours are big. And so those were some examples of that. And then another is educational. We talked about how Laura does a really good job of the educational side of it. I love this example because not many people know that you actually skip, in Indiana at least, you skip a payment for your mortgage. So she was talking about that on here and about how that you can buy more when you save money. And then if you close, like an example here, if you close in February, your first payment's not due until April 1st. So like really telling that story to people.
Ton of people got that poll wrong.
Really?
Yeah, which is good. I mean, like that's the point. They got it wrong before, and then I educated them to tell them why.
Right. And so, and you do that in like a direct message. That's the thing too, is it's direct message. It's not like they're embarrassed publicly. Like it's one-on-one. So educational is also like a really good topic. You can talk about home buying process and selling, community highlights. Lists are a big thing, like top mistakes clients make, industry myths. I heard one, Tom Ferry mentioned that a big hit that he's seeing with clients is like, you live in your city and like have people fill out like what it's like to live in their city. Kind of like the old joke, like, you're a redneck but it's, you live in Fishers, Indiana And I did that on my Facebook, actually not on Instagram, and it was hilarious. So something to try out on that too. You could do that as a question sticker. Anything to add on that, Laura? You do a really good job with the educational ones.
No, I mean, the educational ones typically take a little bit longer. I guess I'm saying, but you can always create these and save them for later. So like if you're sitting on the couch at night and you're like, oh, I could be, fiddling with something, that's when I might make these. It's harder to do these when you're out in the field, like showing a house or something like that.
It's a good idea. I like creating them in an album. Okay.
And once again, steal from other people. Why reinvent the wheel?
Hey guys, are you able to record a video like with your phone as like the camera app and then upload it to Instagram after the fact so that you can do the same video if you wanted to on Facebook also?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I actually use my camera app more than I use, like I don't ever really take photos or videos with my Instagram app because it goes away if you don't use it. So I almost always use my camera app on my phone and then upload what I want to use into Instagram so that I have all of them instead of if you take something in Instagram but you don't use it right then, you lose it. So yeah, thanks, Chris. You can make things funny, like if you don't follow the broke agent and you don't mind a little cussing every once in a while, it's hilarious. But a good way to lighten the mood and make things fun. You can get creative with whatever. You can create your own memes or you can share memes that you find, but just make things funny and different. So the broke agent is now on TikTok. If you guys are on TikTok, it's hilarious. You should go on there. Other ideas and examples, being personal. Sorry, all of my chat boxes and stuff are on the right side. Being personal. So what's your drink of choice at Starbucks? I had so many responses to this question. So many people go to Starbucks. They love to talk about what they do. And so that was kind of a fun question sticker there. And then integrating your family and what you're doing. This, this right here is the slide sticker where that heart is. And so when someone slides that, they can say if they love it or not, and then it will tell you at the end what the average answer was. So that's fun. Do you use those ever, Laura? Every once in a while.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Again, this is kind of a good way to judge too, like what your audience likes seeing. And then Amber Russell, she's an agent with us, or not with us, but in Indie Market, and does a
Not
great
yet.
job showing like her day-to-day stuff, like what she does. What's that?
I said she's not an agent with us yet.
Yeah, that's right. But she does a really good job of showing like her day-to-day, like good, like she takes walks in the morning, so she'll post about her morning walk, but she also posts about going on listing appointments and stuff. So she just mixes it up there. Any ideas, Laura, like being personal, like how else do you pull in? I know you post a lot about like Lane and his school and stuff, like what, any other ideas as far as personal goes?
Well, I bought a house myself this year. Like last night I posted about us trying to, the box said that this garage shelf was going to take 30 minutes, but it took us like 3 hours. So like home improvement projects, like your walks, I'm walking past little parts of downtown Indianapolis. So I generally comment on those. Any restaurant you're at, you should be taking and tagging that. Those kind of things.
Yep. Giving like little reviews or whatever you're eating, like, and we do a tour of Indy sometimes, and Laura had like this super cute restaurant that her and Lane went to and tagged them in that.
Oh yeah, they asked if they could repost my thing.
What's that?
Yeah, the on Mass Ave in Indianapolis, they asked if they could repost it.
Yeah, and right now with all of us being quarantined, I'm seeing a lot of people like talk about their walks that they're going in different parks, and that's huge too. Like people still want to get out and they can't go into the public really, but they can go out and like hike or go for a walk, like giving good, reviews on different parks and things around that they can do outside is a good idea too. So being like on topic. And Casey just mentioned pets. Pets are huge too. People, feel like they're family. So posting about your pets, commenting on other people's pets. This is a good one, Casey. Share family, your hobbies, personality, behind the scenes, and strategies. So this is the last side. If anybody has questions, feel free. We're, here as long as you need us. But be authentic and be you. I see a lot of not just agents, just people in general on Instagram trying to like fit in. And that's exactly what you do then. Like you don't stand out. So like the more you can be you and talk about the things you want to talk about and really just shine your light, the better. And then people gravitate to you because of who you are. And that makes the process so much easier too when they become clients or friends even. And then for stories specifically, the format is portrait, not landscape, although you can use them both. But I don't know if you saw on the stories, they're the longer box, not the landscape version. Just looks a little nicer when you're posting stories. And then something to try. Laura does this a ton in text and it's really good.
I do it to clients too, Robin.
Do you? I've started to. It's so nice. So when you get a direct message into your DMs, or you get a text message on your phone, however you want to do it, there's an option with a microphone to respond back with your voice. And what's so cool about that is that you hear their tone, it comes across more genuine, and they get a feel for you and your personality versus you never know if they're going to read your text wrong or how. Like I'm pretty direct when I email and text, but my tone's so much different. So like, it's just a really good way to get your personality across. So it's just something to try. I think that it goes a long way, especially with someone that you're just meeting. So do you do this with everybody, Laura?
Certain clients who I really like.
Yeah.
People who I feel like are, easy. It's just easy with them as far as like personalities jive well. like you said, personality. You can say funny, goofy things that you wouldn't necessarily put in a text. It's definitely relationship building. It's my new thing.
Yes, love it. I've been trying it out too. I love it.
A lot faster.
That is
as well.
it for the slides. Is there anything, Laura, that you think I missed that maybe we should go back to, or anything to add?
Well, we talked up social media, but I didn't know if there were like specific questions, like when Brandon was like, how do I do a highlight? Is there somebody who's like, I don't know how to do something, that we should give them
Sure.
like how-tos?
Heather, did you have a question?
Yeah, you know what? So I'm playing around with it right now as we're talking, and I actually opened an account on the computer, but I just got a separate account on my phone. It gives you an option to switch to professional account.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you use for your Highgarden? Is
Yeah,
professional?
I use it for both my agent profile and Highgarden's profile. So the reason you want a business account, one, it's free. Second, you get analytics on what posts are doing well, what time of day people are viewing your posts, and that's very specific to your audience. So there's lots of stats out there on like what the best times to post are, but based on your audience, it'll tell you very specific stats on when it's good for you to post. And then also, if you link up like your website or anything like that to your profile, it'll show you stats on who's clicking through to that. It'll also show you, if you use hashtags, how many people found your post because of hashtags. So there's a lot of ways to look at how to make your profile better for free. But the biggest thing in my mind too is that on your profile, when you have a business account, someone can click one button and either email you or call you from that button. They don't have to exit out of Instagram to get a hold of you.
Okay, so do you have a way that you, whatever you post to your professional account, it will also be posted to your personal at the same time?
I actually have one account. I don't separate them. My account, my personal account is personal and business combined, but it's set up as a business account.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think the more we get into social media, the rule used to be like 80-20, like 80% business, 20% personal. But I really think the more we move into this, like it should be both always. Like your post should show your personality, it should be personal, but it can have a business message. So the more you can combine both aspects into one post, the better. But I wouldn't be afraid to share both onto your Instagram. And that's kind of the nice thing about Instagram, is that you can do both within one account. You don't have a business account and a personal like you would on Facebook.
Okay.
Heather, was it Heather McLaughlin raised her hand? It went away. Sorry, Heather.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, just it seems that some people are just now getting started on Instagram, so I was going to ask for you guys' advice about like the best way to set it up. Like for instance, when I set up my business account, I put realtor in the name, so it's obvious to people when they're looking for people to follow or whatever that that's me. Is that different things like that? I guess I was looking for advice on that.
That's a great point. Laura, did you have anything on that?
Okay, so you're saying like adding your name, or Robin, can you go back to like your homepage, I guess, where it like says what you do?
Mm-hmm.
I already have 9 followers, and I just did this like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, so are you talking, Heather, about like people, what they're putting in their homepage there to like grab people's attention? Okay.
Yep, the picture and the information and your screen name or your handle or whatever.
Right. Well, they want it, they say, whoever they is, say like be as obvious as possible as to what it is you do, so no one's like questioning what it is. So I sort of focused, obviously, like being in Indianapolis, we want somebody who knows the city, which is why I put like indie enthusiasts. And then made sure that they're, how they can get a hold of me is huge. Like I said, that guy I met this week, sounds a little weird. He contacted me via my email and he found it here. You know what I mean? So this needs to be clear, concise, easy to read. so that people aren't having to search, right? It's all about convenience.
Perfect. Thank you.
My screen here where it says Laura Waters Realtor at the top.
Yes.
So
What about it?
Laura Waters Realtor and where it says Laura Waters, both of those are searchable. So you can, even if you wanted to put here where it says Laura Waters, you could put Indiana Realtor or anything in there is going to be searchable. So if someone's going into Instagram and they want to find a realtor in there or something about real estate, Laura is going to pop up because it says realtor on there. And especially if she has mutual friends or like hashtagging the areas that they're looking. But yeah, this right here, whenever she comments something, it says Laura Waters Realtor. That's what's showing up when she comments something and people see it in the messaging. It's very clear that what she does. So I would definitely recommend that. I might even add that indie enthusiast in Laura Waters there.
Thanks for the tip, Robin. Always looking out.
Always. And because this is a web version right here and not on the phone, you can't see, but when you have, when it's on your phone, there's two buttons here that says like, one of them says promotions and then contact. So when you hit contact, that goes directly to your phone or email. Brandon, did you have a question? I thought somebody was talking. Okay. All right. Tagged. Last thing here, unless anybody has more questions, but tagged too. So when you tag someone in their photos, it goes to this specific album here too. So if you tag a restaurant or a community or a park, there on their profile, your picture comes up. So if someone goes to that restaurant and they see who tagged themselves there, then your stuff will come up. So it's just another way to be exposed there. Laura, is that you dancing?
That is this guy who tried me as a realtor to buy something. So he tagged me and now it's tagged on my page.
Oh, okay.
So he did what you should be doing.
Okay. Diana says, how often do you boost a post? Laura, I'll let you answer that.
Oh, but you're so much better than for me, I really only do it if I guess it depends on your goal. Like with a boost, you're either going to get more followers, but it's like, is it the point to get more followers or is it to have more interaction and people, I guess I'm not good at answering that, Robin. I do it with all my listings. Like I did it with that Capitol House there. I do it with that mostly.
My answer would be the exact same. I do it with all listings, so I can provide the analytics of that to my seller. And then anytime I think a post is good enough for like branding, I boost that. But I don't necessarily boost anything to generate leads. It's mostly for branding, and I think the leads come with that eventually. But it's never like a lead capture system. But I probably boost once or twice a week. Just to answer that.
Yeah, that's more than I've been doing. But like I did boost that house there in the middle and had about 3,000 people see it. So
yeah, it's beautiful.
And not for very much.
Any tips to add followers, or should that happen organically? Great question. I think using hashtags, location, commenting on other people's stuff.
Following more people will get you more followers without a doubt. And it should come organically. You should be following people that you genuinely care to see their stuff and want to comment on their posts and engage with them. And then that reciprocity will come along. So searching the people that have the similar interests or in your area and commenting on their stuff will help with that. But also use hashtags. You have 30 available for every post. Use all 30 and hashtag like the area that you're in, what you're doing in the post, make it relevant to that post, and you'll get more followers that way too, of people who are actually interested in those things. Great question on that. Any other questions? Heather, is your hand still raised?
Yes, it was. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you had another question.
I do. Yeah. I've had some trouble with videos playing properly when I try to post them on Instagram. So what is your recommendation for the best video tools, editing tools?
Video editing?
Yeah.
I
Video
really try to
editing,
keep
I
them
hate.
pretty candid. So I'll like edit them in my camera app. Laura, what do you use? You use iMovie sometimes?
I don't think that the time is worth it personally. Like, I guess what kind of videos are you editing?
Well, I'm talking about like Jonathan Feldhouse on my team. He likes, he's a chef. So we've made videos of him making dishes, and obviously people aren't going to want to see every second of that. So
Okay,
that one specifically, I was trying to edit down. And then when I did, it would, when I uploaded it to Instagram, it would show up really small and grainy. So I didn't know if there was a particular tool that you, or an app specifically that works best or what.
Right. I use iMovie, but I agree it takes forever. So
Yeah.
not a good answer for you. Sorry.
That's okay. Thank you. That's
Yeah,
okay.
I use on my desktop, Heather, a software that's called Camtasia. And I find it to be a little easier to use than Adobe Premiere. I think, Laura, if you looked into it, I think it was like $300 or something, like $300. It's like software that you download to your computer, really easy to use. You might try that if you're doing a lot of video, but I would try to keep them as candid as possible, not editing, just so that the more I feel like you spend time editing, the less you're going to post, and consistency.
Right.
Yeah, that happened to me at the beginning. I tried to do that and it was like, I could spend hours because I'm a perfectionist too. So that's why I gave up on that. But I feel like you could cut your cooking movie with iMovie pretty quickly. That wouldn't be too bad.
Okay, I think that's what I used, and that I couldn't get it to upload properly, but that's fine. I'll check out Camtasia, and we'll just try to do, we'll come at it differently and record it differently next time.
Yeah. So kind of eliminate some of the editing.
Thanks. Yep.
All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for being on here. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to Laura or I. We're happy to help. So have a good day.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Laura. Bye.
Bye.